you geared it more towards working with individuals,
Absolutely.
A lot of one-on-one.
I still have group training, but I keep a very small group. I never have more than 24 athletes. I like to be very personal. I like to really know what's going on in your life. I don't like anything just cookie cutter, just throw it out there, and do it. Everybody does the same thing, I have about a third of everything. I have a third of, people just starting out. I have a third people with, their Ironmans are coming up in Florida and in Arizona and other places as well. It's a little mix, whatever, but it's specialized, it's specialized people that I can click with and I understand that, and I like to vet, pretty good or whatever.
So that it sounds like if there's more to, and this would go into my question as far as, recommendations for beginners that you have or people coming back in from a long hiatus. Well, it would be a question for recommendation and looking for a coach. Like, what should they do? I mean, if they're looking for a coach, I guess it's finding the right chemistry, right? Like finding somebody who you match with.
100%. It really is, because all of our workouts are very, very similar. It's how we write it. And, whether we use, rate of perceived exertion, whether we use zones, whether we use heart rate training, a lot of that is paralleled with the type of training that we're doing, whether, we have a day of intervals, a day of speed work, a day of endurance. We all kind of do that. We all have our days off and everything. It's just a matter of who you can click with. And there's been a lot of athletes that I just haven't had chemistry with, that I've felt that I've had to let go or they've let me go. And it's just, hey, man, you got to have that attitude that not everybody's going to like you and not everybody's going to click with you. And, I think rapport is so important. You got to have good rapport. What I mean? Some people just want a certain type of, athlete, a certain type of coach.
Both sides have the expectations, but it's really, it is important that you're both on the same page as far as, well, like you said, humor, and how you look at problem solving, that's a good point.
Yeah. And then, there's also, some athletes need coddling. Some athletes just want a training plan. Some athletes just kind of want to tell you about their personal life and not really care much about that, but they just want to be part of something.
Mike, you're so funny because like in hearing you say that, I do think of my coach Andy too. I've actually, so for the listeners at home, so I have used Mike for a swim coach. He's an amazing swim coach as well as an overall triathlon coach. But when you say that, I think of like, man, it's almost like they're a therapist on top of coaching us through. And I'm in the middle of trying, I quote, air quotes, trying for a 70.3 in North Carolina. And that's coming up. And my training has gone like off the deep end. And as we're having this conversation, I'm like, yeah, I can hear coach telling me like, all right, you know what? That's that week. Now move on to this week. It's a new week. Focus on where you are right now. And it's how much are you going to go into agreement with I can't, as opposed to, it's a new day, get up, try it again. Like, don't let things snowball on you.
Sure. And you have to understand life happens, there's so many things that come up in people's life. And if you're not aware of that because you have 100+ athletes, it can be tough as far as what you want to, deliver, in your or in you, you want to know, hey, this person's, suffering through a time right now. Let's ease off the training a little bit like that. That's why I need to be aware. I have clients right now that are ready to be married, ready to get married. So I have to be aware of that. Wedding plans are coming up, a shower yesterday, that sort of thing. So you have to know personal stuff that's going on, divorces, deaths. There's so much that, you have to kind of ease back, or hospitalizations, because that kind of stress, and then you send them on a 19-mile run, their cortisol levels are already through the roof. And then you're sending them on a hard workout. You can hurt your athlete a lot.
Yeah.
Sometimes just sending them on a 3-mile walk sometimes can be a great thing, just, go do something for your head, rather than, just double up tomorrow or something because you missed it because your mom's sick.
No, Mike, it's so true. It's so true. I appreciate you